All right, Leos. This is Leo time. Thanks for joining in. This is your monthly reading, and we are tapping into October. So we are full-fledged into fall in the Northern Hemisphere. For those in the summer, I know you're kind of in the spring now, coming out of winter. But yeah, October is one of my favorite months. It's a great month. And yeah, so we're in Libra season. So the monthly themes and reflections for this month of October 2025 are balance, relationships, and equality. Okay, so those are going to be the themes. Those are things to kind of sit with and you know, the themes and reflections about sitting with those themes and looking at your own life and where can I shift? Where can I grow and expand in those areas? Am I fulfilled? Am I feeling good about, you know, my relationships? And what can I do? So the key here for relationships, I know most people hear relationships and think of, you know, oh, love relationships or friends but the key to the first thing you need to do and look at before you can improve your external relationships is look at the relationship with yourself. And some people might say, well, my relationship is good, but is it really? Because if you are seeing discontentment or challenge in your external relationships, it's all mirroring back to internally with you. And even if you're not feeling fulfilled, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling, you know, overwhelmed or stressed or, you know, you have too much on your plate, those are all signs that we need to come back to the self and listen to ourselves and go really deep to our intuition, to our heart, to all the parts within us and ask, what do they need? Okay, so that's all creates the wholeness of who you are. And you're stuck in your head. Okay, so you have parts of you that are calling out for rest, or they're calling out for you to say no to people, or to stand up and put boundaries, or, you know, hey, you know, this person's constantly disrespecting you, or you're in a relationship that's not healthy for you, that's not for your highest good, and you continue to abandon yourself by staying in this relationship. Those are all things that your inner self is calling to you. And the more you listen to it and the more you can fulfill the inner needs and the inner, you know, parts of you, that's when you find alignment externally. I think the biggest thing is people don't want to listen because these parts are asking it to do things that either it doesn't know how to do because it was never taught or you were never taught, like putting boundaries up or even saying no to people. That's going to be very uncomfortable and it can bring up a lot of fear because a lot of people who always say yes, they're constantly in this need of trying to maintain the connection at all costs because there's fear about disconnection or losing a connection. There's a lot of fear or trauma around that. So that's just an example. And so it is going to be, it's not always difficult or easy. It can be very difficult. It can also take you back to past traumas, to past hurts. And, you know, again, but that's the only way you're going to expand and create a life that's a lot more, you know, aligned with who you really are, aligned with people who are supportive and loving and respectful, and that want to fill your needs and not just always me. Okay, so that's like the big theme I wanted to call out for everyone. And lastly, just if you're interested in a personal reading with me, you can schedule one on my website, which is linked below in the description. But let's go ahead and get started for all you Leos out there. Okay, we have Night Song, Hidden Talents. Oops. Dawn, the light after the darkness, and this one really wanted to come out. Skull of Darkness. Interesting. 2 cards that reference darkness, blind spots. So I do feel like you're coming out of a dark period. I feel like October's kind of heralding kind of the light after the dark period for you, so that's very positive. We have Jupiter here, my third kitty, and every time he joins the readings, I say, you know, because Jupiter is the planet of luck and good fortune, so there is some luck for you this month, Leos. So I feel like for part of this dark, you know, it could have been a dark night of the soul, or just a dark period. I feel like what you're taking out of it is sometimes it's the darkest periods and the most difficult periods that all of a sudden we find more of ourselves. And this hidden talents, I feel like potentially you could be more spiritually expanded. Maybe you found more of like a purpose of, you know, and found some talents. Maybe you found some new intuitive talents, or like you've learned, you know, a lot of spiritual information and kind of went through a whole transformation. So you want to help people. But there is something about those hidden talents. Maybe I'll just read a little bit from the book on this one. It said, should this beautiful but shy bird sing to you by appearing during your divination, know that you must unwrap the present of yourself. Look, some of the gifts within you remain unopened. The time has come to step into your true potential and claim all possibilities for yourself. There's no more time to waste, no more excuses. So there is something about finding your true innate gifts and sharing them with the world and putting them out there, or just actually it's the time to actively focus on that and do things aligned with that. Like, you know, maybe it's, you know, you found some intuitive gifts and you want to learn tarot readings or something like that. So there's definitely something here calling for you to start to really hone in. And I feel like this period has really helped you maybe figure that out. But October is a time for you to actively start creating and kind of putting that energy out into the world, especially after this period. And that is going to start you on the path that you're meant to be on here. And then the blind spots here, I feel like there's something that you're not seeing though. You know, when we think of blind spots, it's things that are kind of out of our purview that we have to be cognizant about, because it could be potentially an issue here. So it says, although we cannot see the issue clearly, additionally, all of us at some stage of life have certain blind spots that may cause us grief and trouble. So these can be issues that we don't see clearly, or it is like a repeated pattern of pain. So this, yeah, reference to repeated patterns. So, for example, the same thing keeps happening over and over again. So we may be betrayed repeatedly, fail at something repeatedly, not complete tasks continually. Peace and pattern breaking can be achieved by doing the work in uncovering our blind spots, or even consulting trusted close friends or professionals to assist us. Yeah, so I feel like part of this dark period was another pattern. Something happened in your life that was difficult, challenging, and I feel like this is something that's happened before. This could be a relationship pattern that you attract and go into relationship with the same type of person. This could be patterns, just behavioral patterns within yourself, like patterns that you have to control everything, or perfectionism as well. So I feel like though this is hitting, this has hit a complete kind of peak, or what word am I looking for in a movie or story, a climax, where it finally kind of blew up in your face, and you're starting to really become aware of this. I feel like the worst is over, but what's being called of you right now is to change, okay? And you need to break the patterns or break the behaviors or the personality traits that keep you stuck, Leo. So that's what October is all about. I'm just going to pull quick a couple of the Moon Oracle. So we have magical and faith. So this has been a big theme in October. You know, we think of Halloween and kind of this magical time, the time when the spirit world and the physical kind of that, there's like the door opens and there's a thinning. And it's a time where we can really access, you know, the higher dimensional realms more easily. So there is this like magical, to me, it is like a magical month. There's a lot of things that could unfold unexpectedly in magical ways that we didn't expect. I feel like it's ripe. It's a ripe time for us to manifest, to create. And I'm kind of reading all these for you guys, but I just feel inclined. So this magical card says sacred space, guidance, and enchantment. So your inner light and vibrational energies are awakening your awareness. Yes. So your awareness, whatever you went through has like exploded your spiritual connection. Your awareness and consciousness has really expanded. I also feel like you've ascended a lot of levels recently, and your intuitive knowledge and powers are kind of at like the highest it's ever been. So it's time to really tap into that energy and your intuition, your abilities, right? We talked about hidden talents. And it's time for you to call forward and kind of connect to higher dimensions more easily. And that's what's going to help be a support now going forward. Like you've accessed new levels. It's almost like a video game I'm seeing when like you complete a level and you go up to the next one. And you know, that's life, right? We end some challenges, we enter a new level, we have new challenges, but we also have new abilities. We also have new tools. We're going to see what happens along the path ahead, and maybe we'll come across new great people that come into our life, new opportunities. So that's what I kind of, again, feeling for you guys. And then faith, you know, maybe you're at a time where you've lost faith. But I do feel like this is a great time to continue to hold your faith no matter how difficult the path has been, no matter how beat up you are. But even in this card, I love this picture. It's this witch with her kitty. And no matter, you know, who has broken her trust or what's happened to her faith, there is some energy here that's still with you that is providing some sort of kind of comfort. And that could be a pet of yours. It could be a child you have. It could be a friend. It could also just be your spirit team is there saying, hey, we're here. We're here. We've been protecting you. Maybe you don't see how much we've protected you, but we're still here and we're going to be that support system moving forward. All right, let's tap into the tarot. Whoa, we're going big and strong. First card out, the World. Yeah, big endings and new beginnings. So I feel like you've definitely, to me, I'm feeling more that you've been through an ending or you're currently going through some sort of big ending in your life. Yeah, 8 of Cups. You're walking away. You walked away from something. It was difficult. Definitely some emotional. I feel like you still have emotions tied to this person or situation, but you realized it was for your best and highest good. Temperance, that's the divine here saying, hey, we're helping you out here. There is this level of trust and patience and just trusting your path forward and that it's going to unfold. And look at what's here. Big opportunities, a new door opening for you, the Lovers. This could be a relationship. If you ended a relationship, there's something new coming in. And this is going to be a lot happier and fulfilling for you. If it's not a relationship, there is some opportunity here that is pretty big that's going to bring more balance into your life. And you're going to make a decision. Like, this is, to me, is pretty big. Like, there's almost like a new door opening of a move, a big move, like a big move of a company or job. Maybe that could mean you have to move somewhere different. But this looks completely different to me. Like, this is a pretty big, like, out of all these, you have 4 major arcana cards. You have an ace, which is pretty big, and then you only have 1 minor here. So you have the King of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, and the Chariot. So you're definitely moving in a better direction than you have been. If there's uncertainty about where you're going or what's going to happen now that something's ended. Positive things ahead, which is good. I'm going to keep going with the next row just to kind of get more around this King and Queen. The Devil. The 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, it's been a challenging 4 of Wands. You've been through a very karmic period. This could be, the King and Queen could be referencing a relationship that you were in. If this ending hasn't happened yet, I definitely feel like it's on your radar that you see this coming, because the ending could be what's coming. And whatever this is, this connection has been very karmic. It has caused a lot of strain on you emotionally, but also physically. So you could be dealing with some health issues, and I almost want to tell you a lot of your health issues are tied to the stress of this situation. There could be financial issues here as well. But definitely I feel like, you know, this person, the King of Swords, he is not very emotional. He's not very like soft or nurturing energy from him. So I do feel like potentially as well, like you've kind of turned your back on this person and you've kind of just been taking care of yourself, even though you may still be connected, because there's like this cold energy between the two, this King and Queen here. The 5 of Pentacles is like feeling out in the cold from somebody. There's not a lot of love anymore here. And this is, you know, really been a karmic situation that you had to go through. And, you know, even this, I'm going to pull that, but the 4 of Wands here, this with the Chariot to me is also referencing a move, a potential move, Leo. So that could be a big, I talked about that earlier, but with the 4 of Wands, which can be about home or relocation, moving, somewhere really good for you. 5 of Wands. So there's definitely conflict here. There's definitely a conflict of thoughts, this could be a fight. Like there's been fighting even as well. Strength. Yeah, and you're gaining the courage to potentially walk away from this. This situation has made you feel very ungrounded. You're kind of in this up and down all the time of like, at some points you're like, okay, this isn't too bad, I'm just going to stay. Other times you're like, I need to get out of here, like this 2 of Pentacles. Really uncertain about what to do. I do feel like there's a focus here on the physical stuff. So this could be money. It could be like stability as well, or just like if you live together. So there is kind of a foundation to this. So if this is a relationship, there is a foundational piece to this, that you've kind of built this foundation with someone. So to completely like leave it is a bit destabilizing for you. So there's that piece that maybe is what kept you here. But there could be some big fight that happens, or just something finally, a conflict that you're like, yep, I've made my decision here, and you're moving towards something better. You are going to find the courage and strength no matter what to figure this out and move forward with confidence, and not just stay in a situation out of fear or uncertainty or, you know, codependency, things like that. What's, so like, And that may be something that you have to work through, you know, to change this pattern. This could be a pattern of yours, a pattern of attracting relationships where people aren't emotionally available. You want more like just loving energy. You want someone who's able to, you know, express their love, and someone's really hardcore here. Even with the way they communicate, they don't know how to communicate their emotions either. You might also have a little bit of struggle with that, but I feel like you're definitely more nurturing than the other. What's the 5? So yeah, 2 5s here. So what's the 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands about? The Star. There's just conflict about what you really want. Like, what is your dreams and what is your dreams for your life? And I feel like there's a huge disconnect here with that. There's also a piece about healing. So you could have been on this healing journey, trying to really work on yourself and grow. And like, the more you heal, this is what's really pushed you away even more, because this person is still staying stuck. They are not focused on healing or growing. And you've just kind of grew yourself out of this connection, which is fine. I mean, that's what happens. But you're meant to grow and expand all the time. So that's the thing with relationships. It's always going to be like that. And I know some people might not want to hear that. It doesn't mean that you're going to constantly be in these relationships and they're going to end. It's about finding someone who will grow with you. And there's just as much probability of that as the probability of, you know, repeating a pattern. It's just that we need to break the pattern. But I do feel like you're more aware at this point of your own pattern. What's the Ace of Pentacles? Lovers. Yeah. You're definitely going to... So this opportunity or new door opening is going to come in pretty, to me, like suddenly. And it's kind of like a fork in the road, right? That something blows in and it's like you have to decide, especially with the 2 Wands. This is a decision that has to be made. Like, you can't like stall any longer with this. So it could be this relationship or situation where it's finally like it's Judgment Day. Like, you need to kind of like shit or get off the pot type of energy here. And I think you're going to make the right decision here. And you need to make the decision that aligns with your true happiness and not about your fear. Because your fear or codependency is fear, and that's what's going to keep you stuck in this situation. I just don't feel this situation, like, this is never going to change. And as long as you stay there, it's going to continue to be a challenge. And as with any situation we're in our lives that we've kind of grown out of, or it's just, it doesn't, basically, like, we hit these pivot points in our life where, okay, we don't need to be in this situation anymore. Or we don't need to do this anymore because, again, we're elevating up and there's something else we have to do. So our soul is going to continue to try and put in our face, like, it's time, like, we need to go down this path. And the more you hold on, at some point the universe is going to step in, and that's this Judgment card. Like, they're going to step in somehow, some way to kind of, you know, push it in your, like, smack it in your face of like, hey, you know, this is what you need to do. And I think that's what's going to happen here in October. If this hasn't, again, I'm kind of on the verge, like, this is something that maybe just happened or is about to happen, and you've kind of still been. But what I see here with the future cards here, like, you are going to make the decision, you are going to overcome this, and things are going to move pretty quickly. So if you're like, if the unknown of what's next scares you, of like being on your own or something, or like leaving a situation that provided some sense of stability, you're going to be okay. So Leos, I'm going to leave you with that. Thanks for joining in again. Again, if this didn't resonate, take a look at your Moon, Rising, or Venus sign readings, because you'll definitely get something from one of them. But yeah, you guys have a good October, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye for now.